Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
Band from Ringside.
Tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast, Logan Paul is Cody Rhodes' new number one contender. We have a bunch of King of the Ring preliminary matches. Edge versus Kyle O'Reilly, Okada versus Dax, John Moxley versus Shota Umino, your complete NJPW Resurgence recap. That and a whole bunch more tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast.
You just gonna hold on to it?
Yep.
What do you mean?
Yep.
Yeah, you just gonna hold on to it.
Yep.
Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Marks. Welcome to the Band from Ringside podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bill Viggy, a.k.a. Bobby the Sprain Heenan, and sitting directly across... I'm in the boot. I know that this is an audio medium. I am wearing a boot. I hurt my ankle. Sitting directly across from me, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
I wanna fly like a beaver to the sea. Fly like a beaver, let my spirit carry me. And on that lovely note, I'll ask the congregation to bow their heads as I read from the latest edition of the Band from Ringside podcast, volume 359, chapter 3, verse 14. And the good smart saying, hashtag boo the heels. It's all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat. The Holy Trinity of BFR. That AKA was the goddamn funniest fucking shit ever. Big ass boot on his foot. Like you said, it's an audio medium. You can't see it, but I saw that motherfucker gimping around. It is perfect. Perfect for this week.
And squaring this circle in the triangle, sitting to my right, sitting to Jason's left, we have Vice. What's going on, Vice?
Man, I didn't realize everybody got henchmen, so I guess roll that shit, light that shit, smoke it.
No 2 beers, Zach Pullman tonight. We miss you, Zach. He is doing some family stuff. His kids are at the age where they do a bunch of stuff on weeknights. So, we are blessed to have him with us as often as we do. He is not with us tonight. But, Jason, what episode of BFR is this?
359.
So, we're going to do what we always do. This is the 359th time that we've done this. We're just going to have some fun. We're just going to talk some wrestling. If you like what you hear here, please go to wherever you listen to your podcast and give us 5 stars and give us a review. It helps us out so very much. We like to have fun. We like to talk about wrestling. We're not journalists. We are analysts. We are fans. And, we talk a little bit of shit. I might threaten Eddie Kingston here and there. Stuff like that happens.
You might not want to do that this week.
Well, he's down, dude. He's down.
Yeah, he is hurt too.
hey, we don't wear sleeves here. We wear boots.
That's right.
We wear boots.
No sleeves, boots.
Boots to asses.
The B is for boots.
But we are, we're coming at you from beautiful St. Charles, Missouri. It's a lovely evening out tonight, except for all the June bugs. But we'll do what we can. We'll fight through it, and we are going to talk about wrestling for the next 90 to 120 minutes. We'll see how we go. But without further ado, let's get to that 3 counts.
You're welcome.
JCB, kick it off.
Let's talk with WWE because that to me is a very interesting place to start because SmackDown opened up with Cody Rhodes getting his announced opponent, which was a surprise of surprises to me considering the person that it was and the title that he is holding. Logan Paul next up to the plate for Cody Rhodes. Obviously, Logan Paul is the current U.S. heavyweight champion, and then obviously Cody Rhodes being the undisputed Universal champion. This is champion versus champion. I don't think it's title for title, but neither here nor there. Champion versus champion is enough right there as a spectacle to itself. We always talk about how Logan Paul seemingly steps to the plate at any given point when it's time to do so. I expect no less when they fly over to Saudi in a couple of weeks and have that title match. I thought the promo was good both ways. Cody threw his shots. Logan Paul threw his shots. It's a match that I'm honestly looking forward to, and this is kind of what I was saying about Cody post-winning the title. What his run is, what his matches are going to determine how we look upon him after he drops the title, whether we look fondly or not fondly upon this run. Logan Paul is a very intriguing opponent. I don't expect Logan Paul to win, but I expect that match to be good in the motherfucker.
I don't expect Logan Paul to win either. I think it would be really cool if they put the U.S. title on the line also. That would add a layer of intrigue to it. I don't expect them to do that,
I don't want them to do that.
Fair enough. I mean, your mileage may vary on that, but I will say that I don't expect Cody to lose this belt for a little while. And the best
At least
thing
6 months.
And the best thing that they can do with his title run is give us interesting title matches.
Right.
Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes. That's an interesting title match. I want to see what they do together. Logan Paul has proven time and time again. No need to go back into it. He is a worthy in-ring opponent. He brings something of an outsider. He brings a little bit of a spectacle. I think he's only had one television match in the 2+ years that he's been with WWE. I think this will be his 13th match, I believe. If you ask me, the best match that he's ever had was in Saudi Arabia when he fought Roman Reigns. That match fucking ruled.
I agree.
So, sign me up, man. This is good. I'm looking forward to. How long until this event?
I believe it's the Memorial Day weekend, so it's a couple weeks from now. Not even a couple weeks. It's like 10-ish days, give or take.
I'm looking forward to, another promo session between the two tomorrow night on SmackDown. This is a big match, and it's one that I am looking forward to. King and Queen of the Ring, I should say, in Saudi Arabia is shaping up to be a pretty fun event. We're going to have both finalists, both the final matches for the Queen and King of the Ring, and we have this match and something else too.
If I had to guess, it's probably tag team title match. Now Finn Balor and JD McDonough are going to challenge Awesome Truth for their the Raw titles. Go ahead.
Triple threat between Gable, Sammy, and Bronson Reed is also happening.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure we got to it once we started talking about Raw, but yeah, for announced matches are set in stone. We definitely have those. I'm definitely looking forward to that triple threat match for sure.
But my reaction when they announced that they were going to say who the number one contender was, and I was watching it, and I was like, you know what? I really don't know who this is going to be. And
I had no clue.
Logan Paul came out, and my reaction was, all
okay.
right. Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
Right on.
I didn't think of it, but it's the match that I wanted that I never knew I wanted until you threw it to me. Go ahead, Bo.
Yeah, I fuck with that.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say, I don't have any problem with that. That should be a solid main event to close out, I would assume, the Saudi show. Matches on SmackDown, just to go over real quick. Nia Jax advances in the Queen of the Ring tournament. She defeats Naomi. Mello, a little bit of a surprise, beats Baron Corbin after they have a little beef backstage. Jade defeats Piper Niven in a battle of big girl behemoths. Jade kind of looked a little green here, but nonetheless got the job done. She advances, and then immediately
she hit Piper with a stiff kick at the very end.
Yeah, I was going to say that motherfucker was no joke. They did slow-mo on it when the smack impact on the face. I was like, ugh, that motherfucker looked rough.
It looked like a receipt.
Yeah, for sure. And then immediately, like I was saying, and I don't know if this is signs of things to come, if it's going to happen in the Queen of the Ring, but obviously somewhere else down the line, after Jade wins and she's heading up the ramp, Bianca's music hits and she's coming down. So, obviously, once again, we have another Jade-Bianca intersection of meeting, so to speak. When do we think we're going to actually get the first match between them? Is it going to be Queen of the Ring, or you think they're going to hold off and make it for like a SummerSlam, Survivor Series, something along those lines?
Well, they can't meet in the finals of Queen of the Ring, right? It would have to be the semis. Yeah, I think that it's not going to be that. I'm thinking SummerSlam, maybe Royal Rumble or something. I think they take a little bit of time because they've got something good with Jade and Bianca as a team. There's no reason to rush it as long as everybody stays healthy.
Yeah.
There's no reason to rush it. It's cool now, and plus, like when they met each other on the ramp, they started dancing together like they're boys, you know.
Yeah, no doubt. But I think that's the I guess, the part of the story that it needs to develop, like HBK and Jannetty or whatever the case may be. When the turn actually happened, when Shawn threw Jannetty through the window, it just felt that much more impactful because they had this history and they had this budding relationship where we all went on this ride or whatever the case may be. And then the next thing you know, Mari Jannetty's getting thrown through the window. I'm not
poor bastard.
Yeah, right. I say if you listen to Bobby Heenan, he said he threw himself through that window, but neither here nor there. Great line by Bobby Heenan. Anyway, I expect that same kind of build to the eventual fallout to where somebody flips on somebody. Next question. Who flips on who? Who becomes the heel in this scenario?
Jade.
Who do you want to become the heel in this scenario?
Jade.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of want Bianca just because we haven't seen it in a while. And for me, it would be just the seeds, at least in my head, the seeds that are being planted with her irrational behavior towards Bayley at this point. Damage control is still a thing, even though they're not even a thing anymore. They're on the different brand. She's still got hatred for Bayley.
I could easily be wrong, but I still think that Jade makes more sense as a heel. By the way, can I just say here, I keep thinking it every time I see it. And I don't think that I've ever said in this podcast, but I think it every time Jade Cargill comes out. Her music sucks. That is heel music with that fucking guitar that makes it sound like 1987 R&B. Oh, it's like fucking terrible. Don't want to get all fucking.
It's like Velveteen Dream is back.
I'm by no means a tone snob, but I really hate the way that guitar sounds. Anyway, I would that's heel music. I think babyface.
It's very similar to her AEW music, and that to me is one of the big things that I don't like about it.
I do not remember her AEW music.
It's very similar. I just heard it on Spotify, my playlist the other day. Very guitar heavy. It's eerily similar, and I'll just leave it at that. Nakamura with a nice little vignette. I'm curious to see what he does on SmackDown. I'm not looking for a lot, but they at least got me perked from his Raw run as a heel to at least have some hope that he comes over to SmackDown.
He gets a lot. He gets a lot of vignettes, and I get it. It's because he speaks a different language, but he gets them a lot, and it doesn't. It always seems like they're getting ready to, pull the trigger with him or heat him up again. I guess they did heat him up with Seth Rollins, and they had a good match, but
pretty good feud.
You think Nakamura's got another title run in him?
No,
me neither.
No, I would love to see it. It would be something that's the reason why I like having the 2 world titles. You get guys like Nakamura, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, guys that you wouldn't typically think at the top of the card.
I thought you were always the one title guy.
No, in this scenario, I think it's better to have the second title because, other guys are going to get their chance to be a world champion. Damian Priest, under normal circumstances, if this was, let's just say AEW, if this was AEW, I'm not sure Damian Priest would ever get a chance at the title. I wouldn't say get a chance at the title, but be world champion in this scenario.
I agree.
In this scenario, the WWE side of the fence,
there's a lot of guys that wouldn't be.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But now you have a second title. You have opportunity for, like I said, Sami Zayn's the one that I keep falling back to because at some point he's going to drop the IC title, hopefully not anytime soon. But when he does, my expectation is that he moves up and then starts to make a world title run, probably, knock on wood, later in the year, much later in the year. Bloodline segment once again. Paul Heyman is just so good. I mean, just
who else is so good? Fucking Solo.
He has kind of
he has stepped into it beautifully.
Yeah, he kind of slipped into it like a nice little pair of comfortable shoes. You know what I'm saying? The bloodline doesn't feel like it's missed a beat.
I really don't feel like he talked this much in NXT either. I think in NXT he was real silent too. So like, you never knew if he had this character in him.
Right.
But, like, he was sitting back there not saying anything during the entire Roman run, and he had this in him. Like, He's fucking good.
No, he was always kind of the question mark because someone had to take the mantle.
I mean, let's face it. They've done Solo Sikoa absolutely perfect. Nobody has got when you think about it, for him to come up in such a major way and be such a major part of the hottest angle that WWE's had in forever, that's really strapping the jetpack to him. Like, he doesn't have to win a championship. He is a fucking made guy.
They got him over by having him not say little, if anything at all. He was the menacing henchman.
And then when he finally gets a one-on-one match, what's he do? He destroys John Cena. I mean, seriously, they have done him.
Yeah.
I mean, he is made.
You couldn't have built up Solo Sikoa any better if you tried.
Nope.
I'm curious to see what's the next chess move, what's the next domino, who's the next person to come in, because ultimately I don't think this just stays this way. I think the bloodline either gets Hikuleo when his contract comes up.
How old is Solo Sikoa?
Or he's super over. I mean, it's...
No, how old is he? Like 30?
Yeah, I was going to say if he's more than 30, I would be a little surprised. But Paul Heyman, I think, is, like I was saying beforehand, I think he's kind of the guy that really
he just turned 31.
Okay. He's the guy that I think is a very fascinating part of this because it feels like I said last week, he is a hostage in this situation.
Man, his name is Joe, too?
I thought so.
So him and Roman are both Joes?
Him and Roman are both Joes.
They should be in a tag team called the Regular Joes.
Stop, nigga.
Joe's the plumber.
No. Hell no.
Joe's the plumber.
No, I'm ultimately wanting to see what happens to Paul Heyman because a part of me is waiting for this new bloodline, the 2.0 bloodline, to turn on Paul Heyman. And that's another good way because I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, this 2.0 bloodline is, going along really well, but there's got to be like a next level of heat. What's the next level that you can really put them on to separate them?
Don't you think we're getting Tama Tonga versus Randy Orton?
I think we're going to get that at some.
Isn't that next?
I thought, is that the next? Yeah, because it feels right. It's either they're the next.
Carmelo Hayes is in it too.
No, I thought Carmelo got bounced. I thought Baron and Carmelo was a random match.
I'll look it up. Keep going.
But I was thinking, how can you get more heat on the 2.0 bloodline? Having them jump the shit out of Paul Heyman for, stepping out of bounds, talking to the Jay or whatever the case may be, wrong place, wrong time. If they stomp the shit out of Paul Heyman, then yeah, I could totally see Paul Heyman, being on the outs with this new bloodline. They might not even have a wise man. Shit, when they hugged it out last week, when him and Solo Sikoa hugged it out last week, that was an uncomfortable-ass hug, man. That didn't look very, pleasant by any stretch of the imagination.
So Gunther and Jey Uso are in the semis.
Right.
And then it's on tomorrow night we have Orton versus Carmelo.
Okay.
And then we have LA Knight versus Tama Tonga.
Interesting for people there. We could flip it. I think the women's is just as interesting. Well, I shouldn't even say that. Tiffany Stratton apparently is getting pulled out of that match against Bianca Belair. I'm not sure who's going to be replacing her, but...
You want to hear my Stone Cold Lead Pipe Log of the Week, even though we don't have predictions this week? There is no way Carmelo Hayes beats Randy Orton. Stone Cold Lead Pipe Log of the Week. Book it.
I don't necessarily think that's a too far of a stretch just because...
That's because you know what you're talking about.
Well, okay.
We're just two guys that know what we're talking about.
Looking ahead.
There are people out there that don't know what they're talking about that are like, Carmelo Hayes could win this.
I don't think he will. I think this is...
Some of them might be listening right now.
I think this would be another great showcase for Carmelo.
For sure.
Especially...
And he'll look strong.
Yeah, if you didn't watch NXT for whatever reason and you're not familiar with Carmelo Hayes, these matches are going to be...
Unless the bloodline interferes. Damn.
Yeah.
Carmelo versus LA Knight in the finals?
No, I think Tama Tonga is going to win that.
Well, they're not doing Carmelo versus Tama Tonga. They're doing Randy Orton versus Tama Tonga.
That's where I was going to say. That to me feels like the next opportunity for Randy to get his receipt and it'll be on a fairly, big stage. That would be the SmackDown final, and the winner would go on to Saudi to represent SmackDown in the King of the Ring tournament final. So in that scenario, that totally makes sense. I agree with you. I just feel like Randy feels like the guy that's going to make Carmelo look good. I can see a bunch of nice reversals, all that other good shit. Carmelo's could be doing, his finish or whatever, get caught by an RKO. How many times have we seen that? Plenty. So, I mean, there's options for them to, get down the ring. That's going to be an intriguing match. I like Randy there. I like Tama Tonga, obviously, in the other side. LA Knight is an interesting scenario. It feels like this is start, stop. Every time I feel like, he's getting ready to do X, it stops. Then they heat him back up, cool him off, heat him back up, cool him off. I'm wondering if the fans are going to stick behind him with all these starts and stops. I mean, he's over. He's over right now, but it just feels like he's in that weird, I guess, Bermuda Triangle of what to do
who
with
you talking about?
Of LA Knight.
Oh, yeah. I don't think that he's definitely been defined down a little bit from where he was. I mean, he did win at WrestleMania. And he beat AJ Styles at WrestleMania.
No doubt.
That's a big win. So.
Yeah, but okay.
He's still upper mid-card, I guess. They could put him in a championship match.
I was thinking more and more that he's probably the guy that takes Logan Paul's U.S. title. That feels like a safe landing spot to me. Right now, nobody's beating Cody, like we said, anytime soon.
No.
The mid-card, upper mid-card, like you said, if you needed to flip him heel and have, him face Cody somewhere down the line, you could do that.
The upper mid-card is jam-packed with dudes. There are so many dudes in the upper mid-card.
Honestly, I'm waiting for Cody, Randy Orton. I'm not waiting patiently. I'm waiting.
Yeah.
That's the title match that I want to see because that obviously has history behind it. And the Cody that we see now, damn sure ain't the Cody that we saw back in the day. So to me, that would be an intriguing matchup.
They could do Cody Orton at SummerSlam. That would be a big enough match.
I would totally be down for that. That would be a nice main event to close out SummerSlam. Big enough match, like you said. Tama Tonga beats Dawkins, who replaces Bobby Lashley. I was going to be surprised if Bobby Lashley won either way, but Dawkins replacing Lashley is essentially the same thing. Main event, like you said, Orton defeats AJ Styles in a really good TV main event. AJ keeps doing what AJ does, and ain't nothing wrong with that. Let's jump over to Raw. Raw opens up with Drew McIntyre just Jesus Christ, dude. I don't know where Drew learned how to cut promos, but wherever he learned it, however he taught himself, he needs to teach a class on this because the line about, CM Punk not looking like not being a drug addict, but looking like a drug addict.
Yeah.
That motherfucker was just like, I'm just stop right there. I mean, that was like 5 seconds into the damn promo. I was like, okay, so we just firing shots off like this.
McIntyre continues to be must-see TV.
Without question. Hit this Punk-Drew feud. It's
the best work of Drew McIntyre's career.
I think promo-wise, hands down. I don't even think it's close. Every time he comes out, he's, eviscerating someone to the point where I'm just like, okay, so you need to just stop. Take the mic out of his hands. He got Sheamus a couple weeks ago. Who did he get this week?
Damian
Priest. But Priest got him back a little bit too, but it wasn't like Damian Priest didn't take a shot as well.
That's got to be the title match, right?
Yeah, I'm curious to see if that is going to be the Raw title match at Saudi. I wouldn't be opposed to it once again. It was another match.
I mean, if anybody deserves a rematch clause, it's somebody who won in the match and got cashed in on.
Especially with the guy that's now the current champion. So in this scenario, I know they don't usually do automatic rematches anymore, but I wouldn't have a problem if you looked away on that.
No, it should just have to be. They should always explain it the way that it's written in their contract. They have a contract signing. Some guys get a contract that says automatic rematch clause if I lose. Some guys just don't have an advocate for them or an agent or something to make them sign the right thing.
A smart guy.
Yes.
A wise man.
Okay.
A wise man.
So in your world, when everybody that was a champion that lost wouldn't get an automatic rematch.
That's right. It has to be written into the contract, and they should announce it before the match. There is a rematch clause. You could really fuck with people's heads trying to get people to predict what's going to happen if you announce that there's a rematch clause and you make a big deal out of it. Man, give me the pencil.
Man, but it also downplays it because then you're like, there's a rematch clause.
Right, but you could make people think that going in, and then
who gives a fuck what
but
happens?
then you have the guy retain. And people are like, oh, I thought they were talking about the rematch clause. It's just another way to kayfabe it up.
I mean, unless you're doing it on Raw or SmackDown, thanks.
Just put it in the corner when you announce the match, or have the announcer beforehand when she says, in this corner we have the challenger, in this corner we have the champion, say, for a fight tonight with a rematch clause. You know? That's Samantha Irvin handle it.
I don't hate it. I don't love it. I'm somewhere in the gray on it. You know,
I didn't expect to do 3 minutes on it, but I guess I feel strongly about it.
So I say, all right, Jason, can you shut the fuck up? EO versus Shayna in a Queen of the Ring quarterfinal match. This is the Shayna Baszler I kind of miss. I really wish that she would get some sort of push on the main roster. I know she's, moonlighting on NXT. We could talk about that later on in the odds and ends. But this is the Shayna Baszler that reminded me of her NXT run. Her and EO have good chemistry. That displayed itself here. EO got a good win to move on to the semifinals. Carlito meets Judgment Day in the background or the backstage area. Is this foreshadowing Carlito's sneaking in as they're kicking Damian Priest out?
I mean, I guess they could bring Carlito into the Judgment Day. It does seem like it.
If you're going to beat down Damian Priest, if you're Judgment Day, you can't do it right now. You need a third healthy body.
Yeah, what I'm going to say is that it just doesn't seem like Carlito is a Judgment Day guy. It seems really out of place.
And like J.D. McDonough is? I mean, outside of him and...
Yeah, J.D. McDonough is, because he's Irish like Finn.
That's the only thing.
That's a big thing. There ain't that many Irish dudes.
All right,
in WWE.
Okay, all right, motherfucker, fair enough. Irish it is. J.D. McDonough, you get a pass this week.
Yeah, hey, Sheamus, come find Bill.
Yeah, Sheamus doesn't fit in Judgment Day either.
Hey, McIntyre, come find Bill.
To be honest, nobody fits in Judgment Day except for Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. Like, none of them make any fucking sense.
Hey, NXT UK, come find Bill.
I was going to say Gallus make its triumph return. I was going to say they knock on Bill's door at any given point. I mean...
I love Carlito. I'm pro Carlito. If he gets more TV time, good.
He got more TV time. We'll talk about that here in a little bit as well. Chad Gable undressing Alpha Academy again this week.
He's right.
He ain't lying to me.
he's giving it to him.
He's attached to a clown car, man.
I was getting ready to say he ain't lying too much.
He's with a bunch of goofballs.
It is raw dog.
Okay, I mean, I didn't know Chad Gable had this heel in him, but I'm here for it. I love Chad Gable.
It's Kurt Angle, dude.
He's mini Kurt Angle, and I love the fact that they finally flipped him heel. Gunther versus Kofi Kingston, another really good Gunther match. I think we've talked about this before.
How much I love Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle versus Gunther in their prime. Can you imagine that? Now we're talking.
Dude, I'm not saying my dick just kind of twitched a little bit.
They would have had an incredible match.
Just kidding. Can you imagine?
Can you sit up, right?
Imagine the dumb shit we'd be saying to each other? Watching that in Joey's apartment, just slapping the shit out of each other.
Doesn't say that motherfucker would be amazing. That's a match that a great what if match. If we could get Kurt Angle right and healthy, I would love to see Kurt Angle and Gunther go for 30 minutes. That would be fucking amazing. Neither here nor there.
And then Chad Gable cashes in.
Jesus. Gunther defeats Kofi Kingston via submission again. I said it last week. I said it a couple weeks ago. I like the fact that Gunther has this submission to hold to him. It just gives him that added extra layer of...
What is it? It's like a half crab?
Half crab. Like a couple weeks ago, it was the Boston Crab. This week on Kofi to finish the match. I think it was the half crab on Woods to finish him off, and that was it felt like that was where him losing the IC title when he came back. I think that was like one of his first matches, if not his first match.
This was
back.
good though.
No, this was good.
Kofi Gunther was good.
No, Kofi is one of those guys. When his number is called, he steps up to the plate. It's just he's never going to be Kofi Mania again, but
he was barely even Kofi Mania when he was Kofi Mania.
Well, it was a nice little run. I mean, I'm not going to sit up here and say that the booking post, Kofi Mania was the best in the world, but that was
8
under
seconds.
Nigga, I know, motherfucker. Trust me, I watched
that Luke
shit.
Perry movie, 8 seconds.
Yeah, didn't he have a thing where he in the Royal Rumble he didn't touch the ground?
Yeah,
he just kind of danced around.
That was his calling card until Kofi Mania happened, and then
I know I'm making fun of it.
Everything just damn Kofi. Great match. I like the fact that Kofi got a chance to show once again why he was a world heavyweight champion for a short period of time. But obviously, he takes the L. Gunther moves along. Couple of backstage segments. No need to talk about that. But the backstage segment I did want to talk about is with Kofi Kingston again, where Karrion Kross comes out and approaches him. And I can't remember the line that he said, but it almost feels like this might be seeds for a Kofi Kingston heel turn? Question mark?
No way. No way. That is not the way I took it at all.
That's kind of the way I took it.
I think it means that the Final Testament are going to attack him.
Yeah.
I heard somebody else say this, that this is going to be the breakup of the New Day, and it's like Karrion Kross? No way.
Weird things have happened.
I don't buy it. My Stone Cold Lead Pipe lock of the week this week.
That's two. That's two. No, that's two now.
Kofi does not join the Final Testament. Book it. Kofi does not go for a heel run.
I wouldn't mind Kofi
I
going
would
on a heel run.
love to see a Kofi heel run.
Thank you.
I would love
I just don't want to see it with the Final Testament.
see it. Man, I would love to see a heel Kofi Kingston go on a run.
Heel Kofi Kingston with Lashley.
Heel Kofi Kingston versus Logan Paul.
Why's it got to be Bobby Lashley?
Because you know how we do it. Everybody that's black should be together. So we're just going to keep that stereotype going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lashley, Profits, Kofi.
We don't see color here at BFR.
So. We do right now.
But
I got the pencil, goddammit.
But go ahead and explain yourself.
Black guys stick together.
Right on.
Swerve and Keith Lee. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. Ricky Starks and Big Bill.
Okay, Bill sees color.
That last one, I
was trying to get
me on the other hand. I'm with my boy.
That whole thing was to get to the Ricky Starks Big Bill joke.
God, I miss that. I miss those two motherfuckers, man. That was my undercover tag team. I miss the fact that they're not a team anymore. I'm not saying Kofi is turning heel. It just seems so random to have Cross come out and whisper, hey, there might be better days, whatever the fuck he said. They're so irrelevant. I was so just mesmerized of him just being on screen. I'm like, what? Karrion Kross?
I mean, I would love to see Kofi Kingston turn heel. I would fucking absolutely love it. I do.
Especially if
I do not see it. I can't
even
picture it.
You got to remember, New Days were heels a long time ago.
I mean, it worked so poorly though.
I wouldn't say it was so. It was kind of go away-ish heat for a while there. I'll agree with you on that.
But none of them were good at it though either. I'm not just saying it didn't get over. I'm just saying that Big E was the only one that even acted like a heel. Those other two goofballs can't act like heels, kayfabe style. Xavier Woods is a heel in real life to me.
I know. As I say, your ass got blocked.
Oh, this week when he was like, winning King of the Ring brings honor. It's like, dude, you acted like a fucking clown with that fucking thing. You talking about you honored the King of the Ring? You got to be fucking kidding me. He was like trying to use British accent and shit. He was it was so good. It was like Mr. Bean shit.
No, he was acting like one of the kids that went to Burger King on their birthday.
Stop.
And got one of them crowns and wore that shit all day long. That's exactly what it was like.
Don't talk about how it brings honor, Xavier Woods. Get the fuck out of here. Who are you fucking kidding? Fucking Baron Corbin brought more honor to that thing.
You can't even play a trombone. Get this shit over with.
Baron Corbin was a great King of the Ring.
God damn.
The greatest one of all time.
Whoa. Booker T is here at the chat. Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed.
And he said, "You know what, sucker?"
Tell me you did not just say that.
We're coming for you.
I'll say it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I need you to finish
We can't just have the volleyball up there for so long and nobody spiking. I mean, come on. You don't want it? You don't? All right, I'll do it.
I'm not going to say it.
And we're only looking at one person on the court, too.
All right, man.
There's only one here person that's going to hit this.
Pull the net down. Thank you. Bronson Reed.
You can hear no bass in my voice. You know it's not me.
Bronson Reed squashes Tozawa. Ludwig Kaiser with a nice little promo, taking up for Gunther after he's getting interviewed backstage about near close calls for Gunther. Adam Pearce gets closed in by Braun Breaker, saying that Braun Breaker should have been in the King of the Ring tournament. What's the future for Braun Breaker? What is his first big feud? What do you think it's going to be?
I don't know. I think it should be like LA Knight, and I think he should go over. I don't think that's going to happen, but listen, this is as good as LA Knight gets. Like, I know we were just talking about, like, he's kind of getting lost in the shuffle. It's probably where he should be. Braun Breaker.
Shit.
I mean, he's a mid-card guy. He can cut mid-card promos. He can make a lot of money and be on TV a lot. But, like, he should be being used as a springboard right now. I hate to say it. I do. I hate to say it.
You're talking about LA Knight.
I'm talking about LA Knight.
Okay.
So, Bronson Reed coming in and fucking with LA Knight, the promo battles could be a lot of fun. Bronson Reed's heel character is very good and very defined, and I would like to see him use LA Knight as a springboard to greener pastures.
Why don't they just feed him Rey Mysterio like everybody else?
I mean, I would be down with the Rey thing if Rey wasn't in the middle of all that Latino shit. So there was a. I mean, it's just LWO versus LDF, and like
I'm just in the middle of this Mexican pizza, and I don't know what to do.
I mean, but Ray's not going to come out of
it
for a while.
Over here in WWE.
There was a part. This is going to be such a nerdy fucking. I'm not even going to say it. There's a Game of Thrones. I'm just not even going to do it. Just keep going.
Okay, I was getting ready to say, yeah, we're getting ready to go down a dangerous path there because Game of Thrones is my shit.
It was the Milanese knot. Those who know.
Okay, fair enough.
That's what it's like with LWO and LDF.
Only thing I would have a problem with is, if I'm not mistaken, LA Knight is on SmackDown, but neither here nor there. Your point is completely taken.
Absolute marks on this podcast.
Yeah, for
dude.
several things. Lyra Valkyria goes over Zoe Stark. I thought this was a pretty good match. Expectations were low, but I thought both women played parts well. Pretty good chemistry. A little surprised that Lyra Valkyria won. I thought this might have been a chance to get Zoe Stark heated up, but nonetheless, I'm pleasantly surprised that she went over. Fans seem like they're getting behind Valkyria, which is one of my biggest worries coming up for her to the main roster, but so far so good.
Yeah, they were chanting her name, too. She's off to a good start.
Yeah, I was going to say pleasantly surprised.
She's likable.
Yeah, she is. I think that might be too likable, and that might not be the best thing for Lyra in this scenario. But, so like I said, so far so good. Position her with Becky is not necessarily hurting her in this scenario either. Sami Zayn defeats Otis. Otis finally breaks shell for a little bit, tears off the shirt, does the worm, but ultimately takes the L and immediately gets dressed down by Chad Gable post-match. Chad Gable decides to attack Sami Zayn, but gets away, and then Otis picks Chad Gable up to take him off to the back, and immediately Chad Gable snaps back into heel form and undresses Otis again. Once again, Chad Gable he can no longer be your underrated Beaver Award winner this year or any other winner, any other year going forward. He is no longer overrated. This has gotten him over. Otis is going to be the great sympathetic figure to where finally he snaps on Chad Gable. That'll be his next big moment in the sun for Otis.
I mean, speaking of Kurt Angle dream matches, Kurt Angle versus Chad Gable.
Yeah,
but that would look like in Back to the Future 2 when old Biff gives young Biff the almanac.
Just shut up, smart ass.
You ain't shit. Great call though. That would be really fucking good to see. I would go. You said old Biff.
They're in the car. Marty's in the back of the car.
Yeah, right. Don't check the
Later on.
site. Dakota Kai
Spoiler
versus Becky Lynch. Yeah, no shit. Becky Lynch wins by disqualification. Damage Control attacks her. Lyra Valkyria comes out to make the save. But the story here and the story earlier in the night is Liv gets the receipt on Becky after Becky, I'm not going to use this as air quotes, punches Liv in the back as she's talking shit on Becky Lynch. Liv gets her receipt, throws Becky into the ring post, and then escapes out of the ring. I'll admit, not a big Liv Morgan fan, so her turning heel, doing heel shit, gets heat on her from me. They're doing their job, at least in that scenario for me. Like I said, I like the fact that they're at least making her a heel. So that for me personally, as a non-Liv Morgan fan, I like heels, so maybe this is the way that you make me like Liv Morgan. She's been a little sneaky biatch the last 2 or 3 weeks, so she's at least
I like her way.
Into the
I
heel
like her way
persona.
better. I like her way better as a heel than I do as a babyface. I mean, she was a heel for a long time with Ruby Riott, right?
Yeah, once again, a scenario where we forget
the
about
Riot Squad. There were two.
Sarah Logan,
who is Valhalla.
correct.
And then the other one was Paige and Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. That's who it was. I talked myself. I remembered it. Liv Morgan's a way better heel. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, and God forbid if this whole Dominic Mysterio rumor comes to pass and she starts hitting on Dominic.
Well, he was wearing a purple bandana earlier in the show, and then later in the show, she had a purple bandana in her back pocket. So, I didn't see that. I saw somebody say
it. Yeah, I was going to say they showed the two side-by-side picture clips where I was like, oh, you don't say. Go ahead, Bo.
I mean, if we're really going to talk about Liv Morgan heel shit, I'm only going to go Rex Ryan. Like, that's the only kind of talk I want to do.
foot fetish guy?
I could care less about this bandana.
Foot fetish guy.
Oh, shit.
Everybody's got a type.
Yeah, right. Ilya Dragunov and Gunther finally crossed paths backstage. The moment itself was enough to where I was like, okay, it's going to be on. Got me excited for the main event. Just before that, you had a Fatal 4-Way. Winner gets Awesome Truth in Saudi. Obviously, we touched on that. Finn and JD McDonough win this match. Assist by Carlito, who comes out and backstabs. I can't think who it was. One of the Catch Republic guys. I think it was Tyler Bate. Sounds right. Anyway, neither here nor there. Finn and JD.
I mean, backstabs him on the table.
No, it just,
but why? Like, you're taking the brunt of that, man. The table hurts. What's a backstabber on a table do? Doesn't do nothing. Just hurts you worse.
Yeah, I was about to say the move is kind of, weird into itself, but, neither here nor there. I'm not taking the shit, so what the fuck? Finn Balor and JD win. They'll get Awesome Truth in Saudi. Backstage, it feels like Priest is giving a minor blessing to Carlito as he's kind of moving along his way as the rest of Judgment Day, starts to kind of reform minus Rhea Ripley. Then in the main event, Jey Uso versus Ilya Dragunov. Not gonna lie, I was surprised, especially when you had Gunther and Ilya on deck.
They're gonna wait for it.
They not saying I'm mad because you set up Jay and Gunther already. So now this is the rematch. They'll run it back next week on Raw.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. It's just,
Dragunov would have been a real good dude to take that Intercontinental Championship off him.
This is true. Sammy is just as good. So, I mean.
Yeah, I know. I'm not mad at Sammy.
I'm not mad at Sammy.
Just saying, Ilya.
Would have
made a lot of sense,
It's no
too.
different than what we just talked about with Bianca and Jade. I don't necessarily want it right away. It would be great to have it. But in this scenario, if you're going to make me wait, that's fine. I trust Triple H, like we said the last few weeks. So if that's the case, that's fine. Jey Uso versus Gunther next week should be a really good Raw final. The winner will go on to Saudi to represent the Raw side.
King of the Ring has been good. I'm looking forward to SmackDown tomorrow night to watch those two King of the Ring matches. Carmelo versus Randy Orton and LA Knight versus Tama Tonga.
Yeah, and then obviously you have the women's side as well. Like I said, I don't know who is going to replace Tiffany Stratton to face
Hold on, let me
Bianca,
figure this out.
But Jade and Nia Jax is a callback from, obviously, the Royal Rumble this year.
Sorry. We got Nia Jax versus Jade Cargill tomorrow night and Tiffany Stratton versus Bianca Belair. But you said who's out?
Stratton apparently has been pulled from this match for some reason.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
But
that was going to be a couple spicy quarterfinal matches if that was going to be the case.
Nia versus Jade is interesting. Yeah. I am curious to see what they do there and who goes over. And then
who gets hurt?
The semis match on Raw is Io Sky versus Lady Valkyria is next week. So, good shit.
Interesting as well. I don't expect Lyra Valkyria to go over, but I expect that to be a good match.
I don't expect her to go over either, but the finals are going to be big time because it looks like it's going to be Io Sky versus. I mean, I want to see Io Sky versus Bianca Belair. Let's see that shit.
You want to run that shit? Let's run that shit. I have no problem with that. I'm sure that they've danced before. If they haven't, then this should be a nice little dance to start the shit off. But, yeah, King and Queen of the Ring tournaments have been good. Triple H, once again, just doing some cooking in the kitchen, man. Don't mind him. You just sprinkling a little paprika here, a little salt and pepper there. We sauteing some shit over there. Everything's coming out nice. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is a good post-WrestleMania shit going on.
For sure.
Good week of television. Let's get to that 2 count.
1, 2, 3.
Let's talk about AEW. A lot of television here, so we're going to hit the big points. Blackpool Combat Club takes on Top Flight. They defeat Top Flight in a good match, like you would expect. Bryan Danielson cuts a promo afterwards, and Claudio walks out of the promo because Claudio, in a backstage interview later, admits to Renee, or I think it was Renee, but it was somebody, that
her or Lexi, one or the other,
that he is worried about Bryan Danielson. He thinks that Bryan Danielson's going too hard, and he doesn't want to see Bryan Danielson get hurt. So that's a little wrinkle in the he doesn't want him fighting him in the Anarchy in the Arena match. What do you think about this?
Nice way to bring things full circle. Claudio saying that, last year at this time he had to come in and actually be in the match because Danielson got hurt. I never even thought of throwing this kind of a swerve, wrinkle, whatever word you want to use into the sentence.
They needed something with Blackpool Combat Club because there's really been no story with them for a while.
Okay, yeah, I'll totally agree with that. I didn't even think of it as a Blackpool Combat Club angle. I was thinking more just Danielson and Claudio, just the interpersonal relationship between the two guys. But
they're in the Blackpool Combat Club together.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Yeah, they're like, hey, guys, we're all friends, and Moxley just keeps bleeding.
Where is
something out?
Where is Wheeler Yuta?
They did say he was hurt.
He's forging in combat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's forging and forging. I'll set him up. You knock him down.
I was going to say, Excalibur, I think, did say that he was hurt in some form or fashion. So, yeah, whatever it is, he's been out for a while. I was thinking of the same thing because I was like, damn, we haven't seen little brother getting bounced around in a while. That was the Blackpool Combat Club heater. So, in that scenario, especially when Blackpool Combat Club was getting jumped, I was like, this is with the Wheeler Yuta spot right here, and you didn't see him come out. I was like, wow, that's missed little brother. But neither here nor there. It could be about Blackpool Combat Club in a broader sense, but just the fact that Cardio even approached that was, to me, a nice little kind of moment as I was listening to him talk. So I'm curious to see how that unfolds.
Little Bill Ospreay goes over Lee Moriarty with some Roderick Strong. We'll get to some Roderick Strong stuff later. Dax fights the Dynamite Kid's nephew, Tommy Billington.
They are blood related. I
think it says nephew, but Tommy Billington is called the Dynamite Kid also? Okay, so those are big shoes to fill, bub.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know who decided they wanted to. Yeah, right. I don't necessarily think that was the best move to kind of saddle him with the Dynamite Kid moniker, at least in my opinion.
I think that's crazy.
It's a little too much, and maybe this is just me, being just that old, and I remember.
Could the Macho Man's nephew come out and say, "I'm the Macho Man"?
I would hope not.
There's one Dynamite Kid,
right? Same with when they took Pillman Jr. and flipped him to Lexus King. You kind of scrubbed get away from the Pillman, and
Curtis Axel.
Okay, same thing. You want to kind of get away from it as much as humanly possible.
Forgot about him, didn't you?
Without
Nicolas Cage. His last name's Coppola.
Without trying to, disrespect the lineage, I guess, for lack of a better term. I don't know.
You could have Dynamite in there, but
I don't even think you need that.
I don't know, Mr. Dynamite or something. But calling him the Dynamite Kid because his uncle was the Dynamite Kid. The Dynamite Kid is kind of mythical. He's kind of legendary. I mean, I don't know. I just think calling him literally the Dynamite Kid is fucking weird.
Yeah, it's like the Lone Ranger again.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let that cook. Let that cook.
Simmer, baby.
There's not much else here I want to talk about until we get to the main event. But I do want to say that when Johnny TV and Taya Valkyrie were cutting a promo backstage, Johnny TV says he wants to do something nobody else around here can do. Win. And I was like, motherfucker, there's a winner in every single match. What are you talking about? Nobody else can do it. That doesn't make any sense. I loved it.
I'm literally just watching this promo, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, wow, I forgot Ty was even working over here. First off.
I didn't know.
I knew. I just totally forgot. You just don't see her on at least.
Is she on Ring of Honor?
I would assume that, and then they did,
Even you don't know? Motherfucker.
I haven't watched Ring of Honor in a hot minute.
If Jason doesn't watch Ring of Honor, nobody watches Ring of Honor.
Stop. No, stop. My wrestling Lord and Savior still watches Ring of Honor, I'm sure. But the other part, they kind of, threw out the Tire and Gloves to Johnny YouTube show. I totally forgot about that, too. So I'm watching this shit. I'm like, why are they even fucking on TV? But then I was like, oh, okay, here's a shout-out for the TV show. They're just throwing him out to have a Rampage main event versus, I can't even think who it was. That was Pac. Yeah, I was about to say, why is he calling out Pac? It was just, the whole thing was just weird all the way around.
And then finally, Edge versus Kyle O'Reilly in the main event for the for the TNT Championship. This was good. Really good. I think I saw people saying that there was never any doubt over who was going to win, but I thought there was a little bit of doubt. No? Never crossed your mind?
Never.
Yeah, maybe I'm just a fucking mark.
You are, but I mean, there ain't nothing wrong with that. But I mean, the whole thing with this is, and I said it last week, it's all building towards the Malachi Black Ultimate Showdown, and obviously we'll get to that here in a second.
Yeah, we will. Did you like this match, though?
No, I thought the match was solid. I mean, it's another match that if you didn't necessarily like either guy, or you just kind of half paying attention to it, you missed a good-ass match. Kyle O'Reilly can go. It's just, the booking is what it is, but Kyle O'Reilly can go.
I kind of think of Kyle O'Reilly as one of those guys, when Edge first got to AEW and he kept talking about all the guys that he wanted to work with. Like, there were guys that he just wanted to wrestle.
Right.
I bet Kyle O'Reilly is one of those guys that he probably watched him in NXT and was like, man, I like this kid, and he's from where I'm from.
Right.
He's like, I want to wrestle Kyle O'Reilly. And this was a good match. And they do have and Kyle O'Reilly came out and saved him on Dynamite. So the Kyle O'Reilly Edge thing is a thing that's going to keep going. I don't know where it's going to go, but I do kind of like this loose alliance that they have. It kind of makes sense. Edge respects him.
Is it a loose alliance? Because obviously the end of this match going into Rampage looked like Adam Copeland was holding that hand a little too long to where it freaked Kyle O'Reilly out.
Yeah, let me ask you about that. But they didn't even touch on that on Dynamite, right?
I don't think they did.
Even when Kyle O'Reilly came out to save him, they didn't touch on it. So, yeah, Adam Copeland looked like he I think it's the first time I called him Adam Copeland in a while.
It has been a little bit.
He looks like he gets real confused, like he lost his head for a second. Are they trying to say that Aleister Black's mist did that to him?
I don't know if it's the mist. I would like to think it's not, because other people
tell
have
you
been
what.
misted, and they just seem like, okay, we walk away from this
Let's
shit.
cool it on the fluids, everybody. Okay, we got Jonathan Gresham out here with ink coming out of his mouth as an octopus. We got the mist making Edge go crazy. And Leo Rush had some shit come out of his face, too, on New Japan the other night. Let's just cool it with the fucking fluids, all right, guys?
Kanemaru with the whiskey, TJP with his red mist. There was a lot of, now that you mentioned it, there was a lot of fluids going around.
Let's cool it. Let's cool it on the mist and on the chops.
I don't know.
I don't want to talk about Rampage.
Well, damn. Okay. Your world. You don't want to talk about that acclaimed...
Yes, boss. Yes, sir.
Don't want to talk about that acclaimed vignette at all?
The Scorpio Sky one?
Tell him.
No, man, I was about to say that they had a nice little rap vignette. I thought about you and Zach the whole way through. I
A
watched
nice
it 3 times.
what?
A rap vignette.
No, I didn't. I don't know what you're talking about. On Rampage?
Yeah.
Who was rapping?
Caster.
No, the Acclaimed wasn't on Rampage this week. I don't have the Acclaimed down here.
I have them in between Deonna Purrazzo and Lady Frost, and then the Scorpio Sky vignette.
Oh man, I missed it.
Got
What
the
was
shocker.
it? It was Max Caster rapping. Was he using a bunch of gay slurs?
Dude, he was like Eminem in 8 Mile.
I can't even tell what the joke is here. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
The fact that it actually was a vignette, and I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like, I can't, I'm rolling my eyes like Bill's gonna fucking fire on this motherfucker on Thursday like it's nobody's business.
Now I gotta go back and watch it.
Dude, like his there was vomit on his shirt already.
Yeah, I bet
mom's spaghetti.
What'd you think about? I'll go back and watch it. What'd you think about Scorpio Sky's return vignette? Are you excited for Scorpio Sky?
Not at all, dude. I'm over it. You guys have tickled the balls and not put the dick in the mouth. At this point, you're just teasing me with
Gentlemen, please turn your attention to stage 4, where we got the beautiful, sultry Scorpio Sky. Pour some sugar on me.
Where we've got Ricochet. I mean, Scorpio Sky.
Skinny pop, 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 pop. Okay, do you want to talk about Pac versus
Name any Drew
Johnny
Hill
TV?
song. Any Drew Hill song.
I was getting ready to say, I was thinking thong song, just Cisco on his own.
Ride it, my pony.
Yeah, right. I like the fact that Pac is getting singles matches again. I don't necessarily want to be with Death Triangle, but this was a decent match. I mean, John Morrison can wrestle, but you knew who was going to win this match ultimately.
Moving on to Dynamite. It starts off with Moxley and Bryan Danielson versus Kyle Fletcher and the returning Jeff Cobb there to do the job to Moxley and Bryan Danielson. And then Takeshita comes out to give a big suplex to Moxley, and Claudio Castagnoli comes out to make the save. What did you think about this opening segment? Is Takeshita You know what? I'll save that question for our New Japan talk next. What did you think about this opening segment?
Well, shit, I had this whole Takeshita quote all ready to go from Don Callis, but I guess I'll just sit on that for a second.
No. Go ahead and say it.
Saw this on.
If you go cup the balls, you better.
Hey,
better
look,
finish.
I was getting ready to, motherfucker. He just snatched the dick out of my hand. I was like, dude, what the fuck? We're supposed to be sharing this shit.
Calm down, Pretty Bear. God, Zach's not here for 1 week.
I am cutting that audio out. That is going to be a
Bill's over here and
drop.
he's like, dick. How many dicks is that?
A lot.
That's great. Don Callis on Takeshita. He's the type of guy that walks in the room and his dick has already been there for 2 minutes. He's a stud. I saw that today. I was like, OMG.
Don Callis said that on the broadcast?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, my God. I would have lost my mind.
Oh, yeah. I'll say, shit, that's FCC just waiting for Tony Khan at the end. It was like, sir, we're going to need you to sign here and going to need you to drop some money into this bucket. No, the match I thought was good.
Hey, pass the plate. pass the plate around. Pass that plate again.
Right? But saying they ain't supposed to be nothing jingling in here, man. We supposed to fold shit on this plate. The opening match was good, and you can't help but, at least in my mind, I can't help but think of, Moxley coming back from Japan, and now you bring Jeff Cobb over from Japan. It's New Japan is getting sprinkled in a little more and more. I'll hold off on my, AEW hatred on New Japan for 30 seconds here. Ultimately, all this is going to lead to Forbidden Door, whenever Forbidden Door is. I can't remember the date. But match was good. I thought the fact that Jeff Cobb was, looking strong against Moxley was always a good sign. The fact that you had Kyle Fletcher and Moxley paired off in various spots. Kyle Fletcher, I say he's like the closest thing to Will Ospreay. I know that's blasphemy to say, but to me, physically, the way he looks, the way he wrestles especially, he has a lot of Will Ospreay moveset in him. I think he could be a great figure piece somewhere down the line if you choose to use him that way. If not, can we just take the ROH TV title off of him? I mean, how many times is the TV champion going to lose on TV? It just makes no sense.
Man, 2 TV champions lost on TV in that match.
Right. I was just like, oh, no. You're killing me,
I mean, Jeff Cobb's the New Japan TV champ, and Kyle Fletcher's the Ring of Honor TV champ. Anyway, so Edge, House of Black comes out. They take Edge's wedding ring. Ooh, so spooky. They're going to put a spell on it. Kyle O'Reilly comes out to make the save. Malachi Black cuts a promo a little bit later where he talks about the wedding ring.
Bend the knee. I'm like, dude, this ain't Game of Thrones. Sit this shit down.
What did you think of it, Jason?
I really hope that Malachi wins over Adam Copeland. I wouldn't predict it if you've made me choose the match right now. I want House of Black to feel significant, feel important. There's too much talent between those 3 guys for them just to be wilding around, chasing Adam Copeland around, taking L's left and right. It's time for them to, if they're not going to be used, then just, let them fade off into oblivion till their contracts go out and then let them go on their way. If they're going to be here, then let's use them in the right way. This could be a solid faction. They just haven't been used properly.
The Elite cut a promo backstage. FTR cuts a promo backstage. Young Bucks defeat Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal. Christopher Daniels getting a lot of love from the crowd on last night. And then the Young Bucks fire him right after, and Jungle Jack Perry dumps a drink on Tony Schiavone and calls him a stooge. Good stuff here from the Elite.
Heel Bucks are the best Bucks. Didn't see the firing coming, but I probably should have upon retrospect. Heel Okada, once again, something I didn't think I would see, but the more and more I'm seeing it, the more and more I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm starting to like this shit. He doesn't say a lot, but when he does say it, it's funny as fuck. So
Okada's been good.
Yeah, it's been a nice little addition to the AEW roster for sure. Obviously, his in-ring talent speaks for itself. So yeah, this is a marriage I didn't think I would want to see, didn't think I would like, but they won me over. So yeah, credit all around, Jack Perry included.
Dude, Jack Perry is so good right now. He's like, if Zach could adopt a son, he would teach him how to be this kind of heel.
He is really good.
Just listen.
He is really good right now.
He is like he was just pulling on Zach's heartstrings.
He was good on commentary too. Malachi Black challenges Edge to a barbed wire cage match.
Well, he accepts the challenge. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't. Okay. Hook comes out, beats a guy named Sebastian Wolf in 30 seconds, and then calls out Jericho and Bill. A little bit. Jericho comes out. They are chanting "Please retire" at Chris Jericho once again. And I have to say this, and I am not a very precious dude or anything. Like, it's wrestling, anything goes. I can't get over how fucking rude that feels, man. It just feels so fucking rude to say that to Chris fucking Jericho. Like, that is, and I don't think it's. I think Jericho is trying to turn it into a kayfabe chant, and he's trying to turn it into a non-X-Pac heat. But it kind of feels like X-Pac heat.
Yeah, they on his ass. I was about to say, St. Louis started some shit, and now
they really did.
Now it's carrying over. That's all. That's kind of always been like the one thing that
I blame Zach.
He said, Zach started that shit.
Three beers started that shit.
I was sitting right next to him. He was the loudest one.
We say on three.
Yeah, he wasn't even. I was eating his pretzel, so I know he wasn't eating.
But that to me is like a side of heat. You know what I'm saying? Where if it starts in one city, the next city repeats it, and it's going to, if the third city repeats it, now we got something going on.
I mean, him addressing it means that it's going to keep getting worse.
He should have never said anything about it.
Unless he wants it.
Do you want that, though?
I don't know. It feels disrespectful.
I mean,
it really does.
Don't get me wrong. I've been hard on Chris Jericho. Not a fan of the Luring Tree gimmick, but I don't want him to retire.
Well, like I said, even if I thought that he should retire, I wouldn't chant that at him.
No. I mean, I'm an ignorant motherfucker, but there is a line that I'm willing to. It was cringy listening to them chant "Please retire." I was like, ugh.
Oh yeah, I felt.
Yikes.
In the arena at. What was that? Dynasty. Like, I felt bad for him.
Yeah, watching it, I was just like, "Oh man, this is bad." But the match was bad, though. It's
just not the point. It's not the point.
I understand that.
You just shouldn't chant that at a guy that's. I
get it.
As great as Chris Jericho has been and given you so much joy for so many years.
I get it. The list of Jericho is amazing.
Would it be okay if they booed Michael Jordan at the Wizards? Like,
I mean,
that'd be cool.
The list of Jericho was amazing.
Retire. He's I'm still putting in 20.
He's done a dozen gimmicks that were amazing. It's just,
I'm not disagreeing.
I don't know.
That.
Like I said, I'm not trying to be too precious about it.
Fans are just going to be fans, okay? I'm not condoning what
they're the same
doing,
assholes that chant "you fucked up."
Yeah, and that's exactly what Bill is doing right now. He's being a fan. Bill is a fucking fan.
Mark.
He's not a journalist. He's not a mark. He's a fan.
Kind of a mark.
And he's a human being.
We'll skip over Swerve and the Patriarchy real fast. We'll come back to them. But Hook and Shibata are backstage. And then Joe comes back and calls Hook a pussy, basically, and says that you're out of your mind. He's like, now you're fighting your boys? He's like, what's wrong with you?
Joe being the voice of reason.
Yeah, Joe's exactly right. I mean, Joe standing next to Hook, he is 4 times as wide as that motherfucker. You could curl up 3 hooks and put them inside of Joe.
I'm not sure.
Tough to look like a main eventer.
That you kind of stole where I was going with it. I was kind of seeing how I wanted to say it, but ultimately you said what I was going to say.
Zach would hate that.
Yeah,
Zach would hate that I said that.
And I don't like saying
it's like
he's listening to it right now thinking, fuck that.
you're looking at that and you're like, yeah, Hook can be a main eventer when he grows up.
Okay, and that's
when he goes through puberty.
It's a hard thing to think. It's a hard sell because they are pushing Hook. They want Hook to be one of the next big ones, and I get that. But that scene right there, that segment when he was standing in front of Joe, I was like, "Oh no, this is TNT title right here."
I thought the same thing when they fought him. When they fought each other. Swerve fights Brian Cage in a competitive match. I'm a Brian Cage fan. The patriarchy comes out afterwards. Christian goes to work. Brings out a picture of Swerve's daughter and rubs it in Swerve's blood.
God damn, you ain't shit.
Talks about how he's an absentee father, and it's just Christian doing all this Christian shit, real good shit. What you think of it, Jason?
I thought the match was really good. Good to see Brian Cage.
Yeah, the match was good.
Yeah, it was good to see Brian Cage being able to work a 15, I guess close to almost 20-minute match, and look strong in the loss. Like I said last week, I love the fact that he said what I was kind of thinking, about the Mogul Embassy. You didn't need us when you didn't want us around when you needed us around. Now you need us. We ain't gonna be around. And that ultimately is the heel turn. That was just perfect. We needed an explanation, and Brian Cage hit it out the park with the explanation. I thought the match was good. Like you said, Christian just doing Christian shit. The rubbing of the picture on a Bloody Swerve, I was just like, I shook my head. I was like, God damn, this motherfucker ain't shit. But it's perfect. It's what you want in a heel. How do you want the heel to get his comeuppance? And Christian is doing all the things where you can't wait till Swerve gets in the ring with Christian. Greatest segment.
Tony Storm has a match against Harley Cameron. Serena Deeb is watching the whole time.
Awkward.
Yeah. So Ospreay has a segment backstage with Roderick Strong where they promise to not have fisticuffs. Ospreay, I thought it was a fucking really good exchange. I thought Ospreay really shone here, and Roderick Strong was also very good. He kind of lost a little bit of the goofball stuff when he was cutting his promo on Ospreay. So overall, this was an A for me.
No, I don't need him to be a goofball in this scenario. This is, Will Ospreay. You need to get serious. We're talking about arguably one of the best to do it in the last 2 or 3 years. So, yeah, as much as I like Roddy being entertaining Roddy and screaming, everybody's name, the first name real fucking loud, and then going into the, whatever he wants to talk about.
Very
this ain't
funny.
But this ain't that time.
No.
This is the time where you need to get serious.
What's he called?
Bill Ospreay is going to be trying to take the international title off of him. So, yeah, I like the fact that Roddy is taking this shit seriously, and the promo exchange felt serious. Just enough tension to where it's like it feels like they're getting ready to fight, but they can't fight. So now it's just more anticipation for the match. This is one of those matches where, people don't like Roddy Strong for whatever reason. He's small, he's boring, yada, yada, yada. This is going to be one of the matches of the night. I promise you.
Oh. It's going to be match of the night. It's got Will Ospreay in it. There's no doubt. It's the match of the night.
But the dance partner is just as important. And Roddy Strong is a really, really good dance partner.
No doubt. Like I said a couple weeks ago, it's the match I never even thought of. Mm-hmm. That's like, holy shit.
Oh. You're giving me steak and lobster this
evening?
There
are hundreds of hours of me talking about wrestling at this point. And I have talked about, for many of those, going way back, how I think that Roddy Strong was the strongest worker of the Undisputed Era, that I always thought that he was underused and that he fucking ruled. And watching him go against the best wrestler in the world, sign me up.
Yeah, nigga.
It's going to fucking rule.
Yeah, nigga.
Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Moné have a contract signing. Willow Nightingale cuts a beautiful babyface promo, really good. She's the real deal.
Good babyface.
Yeah, she's the real deal. And then Mercedes Moné.
Why are you saying it like that?
I don't know.
It's like he's playing women wrestlers to his mom.
Mercedes Moné. Well, they say money weird. They say money.
Janine would be like, knock that shit off.
They have a contract signing, and Mercedes doesn't even try to not heal it up. And when the boos came, she looked like she expected them. This is the way they should have gone. This is the right move. This was a really good segment, like a fucking really good segment that got me excited for the match. I want to see it. What you think, Jason?
I was already excited for the match. It just, the build for the match minus the first match they had, the AEW portion of it, that's what I was concerned with seeing Willow cut that great promo, giving the love to the past and the present, and now, saying that how much this title means to her. That was a good start. But I'll say this about Mercedes. When she said whatever her opening line was and then did that laugh, I was like, ooh, that's heel Sasha or heel Monet or whatever the fuck you want to call
Monet.
it. Yeah. I was like, ooh, that's the heel side of her coming out, and that's what I've been waiting to see. So, as Willow said, the line of, you didn't walk out of the ring the last time we met, and then, Mercedes slapped her. I was like, okay, see, this is that heel shit that I've been waiting for. Mercedes has been kind of at least been booked on that, weird little gray area of, she's being portrayed as a baby face, but in your heart of hearts, she's a heel, and she's better as a heel. Now we're starting to see it.
I'm going to start calling myself Bill Vege.
Okay.
You motherfucker say shit. Don't encourage this motherfucker.
Oh no, I'm gonna do it too.
And then finally we have Okada versus Dax Harwood for the
Continental
Classic belt.
I'll call it Continental Crown Championship.
Oh, the Continental Crown Championship. Okay.
See.
They have a match for this. At the end, schmoz happens, and then replacing the injured Eddie Kingston. We probably should have gone Resurgence first because it went since chronologically. But anyway, he replaces the injured, and Darby Allin comes out to replace the injured Eddie Kingston. Darby Allin broke his leg, so he couldn't climb Mount Everest. Then I heard he got hit by a bus, and now he's back in the ring. So Darby Allin.
So let's put him in this match and let him jump 3 floors off of something.
Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention right before I forgot to mention right before all that happened, he jumped off a ladder through plate glass and landed on the ground on his back. The guy is not fucking human. He is a walking Jackass episode, and I love Jackass. But he's going to be in this match. What do you think, Jason? Of the match first, and then Darby's return.
Yeah, just have Darby come and drop like 3 floors, pop and drop 3 floors. Into Spikes and Mick Foley's
flaming table,
like a bump from New Jack, but on purpose.
Oh Jesus Christ! No,
like a planned and begged one.
Oh God! I say that every time I see that New Jack bump, it's just. But I can see Darby Allin's like, okay, we can do that shit. That's how crazy he is. Yeah, I was getting ready to say, full heart my ass. He gonna land wrong one of these times and be out for a hot minute. Hopefully it ain't gonna be anytime soon. But he's the perfect crazy guy for this match. Number 1, 2, the dots connect because he and the Bucks have beef. Obviously, he and Jack Perry, obviously, they had their 4 Pillars match that Jack Perry referenced about on the backstage segment. So this makes sense. No problem with that. The physical match itself, Dax Harwood is a guy that, we know that can wrestle really good singles matches. Putting him against Okada felt a little weird for 30 seconds, but I was like, well, in my heart of hearts, I was like, I know Dak is going to be able to keep up with Okada and not embarrass himself, and that's exactly what he did. Nice, well-paced match. Okada with the heel shit to finish it off with the Rainmaker.
Oh, I never had any concern about Dax hanging with Okada.
It's weird when you see Dax by himself and Cash is healthy. I'm assuming in my head is Cash is healthy. Whoever is standing across from Dax is going to get a good match. We saw with Kyle Fletcher last week. We said not Kyle Fletcher last week, but it was who was it last week? It's Tommy Billington on the night before Rampage. Collision. There you go. That match we talked throughout the match beforehand. This match here, Dax can go. It's just weird when you see Okada across from him. You know, that's the one time where it's like, damn, Okada is in AEW.
Yeah.
And it's hard to, sometimes it's
weird.
hard to me to wrap my head around, but that was one of those times where I caught myself like, okay, you know, it seems weird, but it's going to be a good match. And it was. Okada winning by fuckery, that's what I'm taking away from it, because it's just getting him more heat upon himself, because you had a really good match. It felt like Okada was on the ropes, quote unquote, but he had to use the ropes to kick Dax Low to finish the match off. And that's what heel shit does.
What about Darby's return?
Didn't expect. I was thinking Hangman Page, honestly, but this makes sense too. Like I said, especially in a match like this, you're gonna have somebody doing some sick, silly shit. Darby Allin is number one, grade A at the top of the list. Like you said, the dude seemingly isn't human. And every time I'm like, oh no, he's going to do this shit. Oh no, he's going to get, he's getting up from this shit. It's so over the top, because now I'm like, okay, what's next? Okay, what's next? So in my head, I'm watching them scrum, and I'm like, okay, what's he getting ready to do here on at Double or Nothing? So it makes sense. I'm not excited about the 8 guys, but I'm excited about the match, if that makes sense.
It makes complete sense. I feel the same way. It's an odd pairing, but it was a good return. I don't know why he returned. I don't know why he didn't run down the ramp. I mean, he was in his hometown, right? They were in Seattle?
Outside of Seattle.
Everett? Whatever. Good crowd, though. I'm not going to kill you guys like I killed Winnipeg and Edmonton.
Yeah, it was Edmonton. I was thinking Vancouver.
No, they were just chanting the Oilers the whole time. But anyway, yeah, good week of television. Let's get to that 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
JCB, what's the 3 count?
3 counts. We're going to go a step back and talk about Resurgence on, I guess that was Saturday night. Yeah, late Saturday night. I'm not sure if you had a chance to watch it. If you did, I won't say it's a must-see, but it's definitely one of those.
I watched the whole thing.
It's one of those where there were storyline angles that developed from one to the other. But let's just start at the top with Jon Moxley versus Shota Umino for the IWGP title. With about 30 minutes, this was a match that I honestly thought that Moxley was going to retain, and obviously he did, but how strong Shota Umino looked to me was the ultimate question. And I didn't think he looked as strong as he did against Bill Ospreay. I thought that was the better match between the two, with Shota being the common denominator. But this was just as good. Had its moments where Moxley went through at least one table. I think it was the elbow drop off the table onto the table from Shota from the top onto the outside, elbow drop through the table. A couple of other spots where Shota Umino was not going to back down from Jon Moxley, and that's kind of what you wanted to see with the student-teacher development. But it just, like I said last week, it was just going to be really hard for me to see Shota Umino make that big of a leap. Moxley has been booked to where only a few should be able to be considered guys that are credible threats to take the title off from him at this point. Shota Umino is a great story, but just not a credible threat.
Yeah, this will be a match that they'll reference when Shota Umino eventually wins the championship. They'll be like, New Japan does this. They have title matches that are early in guys when they're on their way up, and then they constantly refer back to them. New Japan does great stuff in terms of with guys referring back to their old matches during matches. This is the kind of thing that happens. Wasn't a whole lot of intrigue as to who was going to win. The second half of the match was way better than the first half of the match. First half of the match, I was like, "Oh shit, this is fucking pretty boring."
No,
and then it got really good. And then afterwards, Evil comes out and attacks Jon Moxley. So it looks like Evil is going to be...
No, it ain't no look like it. It's official.
Your number one contender.
They'll wrestle at Dominion.
Jon Moxley, fuck you.
Okay.
Not as good as Alex Copeland, but it got the point across. I was like, son of a bitch. Here we go. God damn it. When he said it, I admit it.
You knew.
I laughed. I did not want to laugh, but I laughed because it was just like, oh, no, this is getting ready to happen, son of a bitch.
That is tremendous.
Yeah, I'm about to say, he didn't need to say a lot. He said enough right there with those 5 words. I'm like, son of a bitch. We're getting fucking Moxley evil at Dominion. Okay, fair enough. I'm glad they at least waited until post-match to have these shenanigans to it. I didn't want to see House of Torture get involved in the physical match itself. You know, the fact that they waited. Evil is just, for me, it's an uninspired number 1 contender choice. It just kind of, I guess, reinforces why I've had a problem with New Japan. They're not grooming the undercard guys, not Shota Umino, but Yota Tsuji, Yuya Uemura, guys of those ilk. Ren Narita is in that same little boat. Everybody is kind of waiting to be elevated, but now when you have chances to elevate them, you know, unfortunately, like Moxley's in the way, and that's no disrespect to Moxley. Moxley is IWGP champion, fair enough, but damn, I don't want to see Evil wrestle this motherfucker for shit. I mean, I'd rather have my left ball get poked on for 5 minutes versus see Evil and Moxley wrestle for 25.
I mean, everybody's got a type, though. Let me ask you this. Does Moxley always bleed? Like, if we were at, like, I don't know, A&W and Moxley was behind us, and we're just getting, like, root beer shakes and double cheeseburgers.
Right.
And we're like, this motherfucker's bleeding? He hasn't even ordered yet.
We
don't even know what he wants.
God damn it. What the fuck?
Like he's at Walgreens getting Robitussin, and it's like, you're bleeding already?
Yeah, right.
Listen, it's...
We got the tussin. I was about to say, put that tussin on that shit.
Post some tussin on it.
But it's like, are you always going to bleed? Like, can we just... You're like the guy that says fuck a lot.
Evil.
And, like, really loud and inappropriately. And he does it at, like, baptisms and shit.
Like, you mean like a guy with Tourette's?
It's like, dude, quit fucking bleeding. Is he bleeding at baptisms? You show up for your daughter's baptism and he's bleeding? You're like, dude, this is not a barbed wire match. My daughter is getting baptized.
Evil is
just curious.
He's a shitty choice. Evil's a shitty choice to fight John Moxley.
I want no part of
that. Is there any chance that Evil wins?
Yes.
Yeah, there is.
As a matter of fact, yes, there is. And yeah. I'm not saying it just because, you know, it's wrestling and, you know, there's always a chance. No, I can legitimately see a scenario where House of Torture gets involved and overwhelms Moxley, and somehow Evil gets in a position where he can hit his finisher and win the match and become IWGP champion. Nothing would surprise me at this point. Matt Riddle has been a champion. Dolph Ziggler has been a champion over there. This would not surprise me in the least at all.
I don't really think that there's a chance that Evil wins. I know I know they're probably. I just can't.
Just jinxed you, John Moxley.
I just can't see it. I can't see them putting the belt on Evil right now. At least, I mean, so Moxley wins the belt off Naito and then faces Ren Narita, Shota Umino, and Evil? Come on. But this is what I was going to ask earlier. Is there any chance that Takeshita is going to fight him for that?
I thought they were going to wrestle on AEW TV because they were. He had obviously the match with Powerhouse Hobbs, and then Takeshita, they came out after the match, and you know, in New Japan fashion, basically, you know, it was like, you know, I got next. Don Collins referenced it, so I just assumed that match was coming up. Seeing Takeshita throw Danielson and Moxley around on Collision on Dynamite, I just was like, okay, it's going to happen. It's just they never announced it's going to happen on this date at this time. I'm assuming so, but if it does, you know who's going to win. They're not going to have Moxley lose the title before they get to Dominion. That's just not going to happen.
Oh, they're not?
No, you will. Fuck you. And I mean that with my heart of hearts. Let's go backwards. I'm sorry, you want to say something?
Nah, that's it.
Let's go backwards for a little bit. The semifinal match was Gabe Kidd versus Eddie Kingston in a no-rope last man standing match for the New Japan Strong title. Honestly, I thought this was one of the better matches of the night. I love Gabe Kidd. This was Eddie Kingston in the right element, so where you had no ropes and really no rules. I thought they made the best of the situation and given to them the suplex onto the outside where Gabe Kidd hits the, I think it was Eddie Kingston, hits the railing or whatever, and it fucks up his leg. I thought that was a nasty, sick little spot. You brought out all the bells and whistles for this, as well you should. Gabe Kidd wins, which was the most important thing that came out of it. Go ahead.
So was the plan the whole time to have Eddie Kingston get injured in the after the match angle with the Young Bucks, and Darby Allin was always the plan to replace him?
That I don't know.
Because that spot he took to lose the match that you were just talking about when he hit his leg on the railing, that looked pretty bad.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it changed the tenor of the match for sure. And when it happened, I was like, oh, this doesn't look good. And Eddie didn't.
Gabe Kidd looked at Eddie Kingston and said,
Fuck you.
Into the railing.
The best part of this audio is when Veda says at the end, she's like, all right.
Yeah. It's like,
Moxley.
One more time.
Fuck you.
She's like, okay, that's enough. Okay. You've talked enough, young man. Go to your room. Wash your mouth out with soap. Veda Sky's amazing on commentary here.
Incredible.
I'll just say this. I like the fact that Gabe Kidd won this match. Eddie Kingston, lost the other two titles. This was, to me, it felt like a fait accompli. It needed to happen, and I'm glad it did. Now it's time to push Gabe Kidd. He's another one of those guys where you're like, where are these guys for, New Japan that should be wrestling for higher titles and aren't? Well, we have them. We just not putting them in spots to be wrestling for top higher spots on the card. Go ahead.
First of all,
there's too much talent.
First of all,
No, there's not.
What are you gonna do with all of it?
Well, there are vacuums that need to be filled in New Japan at the top, and Gabe Kidd, like you said, is that dude.
He is that dude.
I see paper in front of you. You got a pencil.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
I mean, I would.
Let's hear it.
Well,
Zack Sabre Jr., Jeff Cobb, Gabe Kidd, any of those three could be a mid-card, your global heavyweight champion. Shingo Takagi, he could be challenging.
I don't know
for the title itself.
I don't know if Gabe Kidd has main event on him or champ on him, because I don't see Gabe Kidd.
I think he's never champ.
Yes, but not the big one. I'm talking 4 or 5 years from now.
Why is that?
3, 4, 5 years.
A never champ?
Yeah, the never open weight champ.
Seriously, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Think like BMF and UFC.
But Gabe Kidd.
No, I'll just think about all the other wrestling going on.
But Gabe Kidd can't do. He can't have a New Japan heavyweight style championship match on his own. He can't carry a match like that. I don't think his style is much more rough, a little less fast paced. Although I don't know. I'm sure he could probably do it. I think that what I'm trying to get to is that I don't know if I would put him in the same category as Yota Tsuji and Umino and Ren Narita and Yuya, but he's right below him. There are big things that they can do with him, and he is a cool wrestler, and he is fun to watch. I love him.
No, I can't say I totally disagree.
And also say that the vignette telling the story of this match, the New Japan ones aren't always as strong, and we may just be used to WWE's, which are perfect and done perfectly. Yep. Very high level. But the one that explained this rivalry was really good. That played right before the match.
It was it captured everything and gave you everything you needed to know going into the match. So
last man standing matches are not my favorite style of matches. I'm on record about this. This one I thought was really well done.
Yeah, I was going to say.
The referee didn't count as slow. Like, it felt more like a real fight.
Yeah.
They weren't selling. There wasn't quite as much laying around as there usually is, especially when you got like a Triple H. Like Triple H used to have last man standing matches, and I was like, holy fucking shit! Just watching him walk around and grunt, and like a referee taking 45 seconds to count to 8.
God damn, you ain't shit.
I mean, give me a break.
Bill walks into us watching that, and he goes, you know what he says? What up, turd?
Fuck!
That's what I said.
Oh, what up, turd? I miss you. Shingo Takagi defeats Uemura for to retain the never open weight title. Next up for Shingo is Hanare. I think that is a match that is going to be well worth the wait. Shingo and Hanare had a couple of really good matches. Hanare did take a win off of Shingo, so it is possible that he can defeat Shingo for the never open weight title. Kind of felt bad for Uemura here. It felt like he was fighting a lot from underneath. Not necessarily the best way, in my opinion, to get him over, but neither here nor there. Thoughts on the match?
The match was really good. Kind of a strange clash of styles, but, I liked it. I'm a Yuya fan. I'm a Shingo super fan. I thought the Hanare vignette that played before it was cool, and then I got to wondering, so WWE went after Tangaloa and they could have gotten Hanare? Like, I mean, wouldn't Hanare be a cooler addition to the bloodline than Tangaloa? Anyway, he's got a pretty nasty scar. If you remember the last match we saw him in, he went out pretty rough, man.
I was going to say he had the head bandage around his head, the whole 9 yards. He was in rough shape.
Who was that against?
That was the 5-on-5 cage match.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's been out for a hot minute.
He took a fucking beating.
Yeah.
But Shingo going over makes sense. I enjoyed this match.
No, it was good. I was going to say I wish Uemura had some more offense, but that's just me because I like Uemura. Obviously, we talked about this, but Jeff Cobb defeats Lance Archer to retain the New Japan World TV title. This match was what it was. It's good to see Jeff Cobb, win and obviously retain over Lance Archer. I'm, a Lance Archer guy. Good to see him back in the New Japan ring, but ultimately, you kind of knew what this was.
It was big men doing big men things.
Big meaty men slapping meat.
So, my kid does this thing now where she walks along the rock wall in front of our house that as the hill slides down, the rock wall kind of gets taller, you know what I mean? And she walks along it, and I hold her hand, and she's like, Daddy, hold my hand, And I realized that when The Undertaker and Lance Archer walk the ropes, they're just kind of holding the other guy's hand.
Don't let me fall, motherfucker.
And it looks a lot like me holding my 2-year-old's hand. Like my arm is like kind of like it gets higher, and then you're just kind of walking with her. So when Lance Archer does that, and Jeff Cobb's just kind of holding his hand, that I'm gonna say that looks stupid.
Well, and the best part about it is in this analogy, nobody's wearing sleeves.
No,
because Bill Vega's not wearing sleeves.
Nah, that's not how he rock and rolls. Fuck all that. Zack Sabre Jr. defeats Tanahashi is what it is. Let's jump to a title change that I don't get and just really pissed me off.
Did you like ZSJ versus Tanahashi?
Tanahashi dialed the clock back like he does. It feels like he does in big matches, but you could just see that Father Time is on Tanahashi's back.
They're not going to put Zack Sabre Jr. in a title match until he can win the G1. Like, he would be the guy to slide into a match. Like, you try to think of who is there to fight Jon Moxley that would be a big enough deal that you'd rather have him fight than Evil. And it would be Shingo and Zack Sabre Jr. Those are the two guys. And Shingo's got the never open weight, and Zack Sabre Jr. is going to win the G1. So they're not going to put him in a title match until he wins that G1.
I swear to fucking God, if Zack Sabre Jr. doesn't win the G1, I'm going to find you.
You think I just jinxed it?
Fucking A right, you just said.
No. Lead pipe? Lead pipe?
No, you bet not.
Yeah, it's my Stone Cold Lead Pipe block.
You son of a bitch! Fuck you too, man.
No, say it on air. The whole phrase.
Yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. is going to win the G1. That's my Stone Cold Lead Pipe block of the week. You heard it here first. No, you didn't hear it first. I'm not the only one predicting that. Everybody is.
I hate you, Vice. I hate you.
No, you don't.
No, I kind of do right now.
Don't say that on there. You can't take it back.
Ishii is going to come out and fight Jeff Cobb in a match for the TV title. I'm always here for an Ishii singles match. I'm always here for, I'm just always here for an Ishii singles match. This has to have a record, though, in all of professional wrestling history. The match with the least amount of neck.
You ain't lying. About to say,
There ain't. Neither of those dudes have any neck at all.
Walking around all shoulders and shit.
Yeah, that's right.
Dude, you know when they're backing into parking spots, they're using that rear view mirror.
No,
they're not looking behind.
No,
they're
they
not
need
looking
new
behind.
technology and shit. They can't even turn around.
They have to turn all the way around and hit the pedals with the back of their feet.
Man. See, this ain't the Flintstones. See, they need to back their fucking camera. I mean? They need the back camera in anything they drive. Like you said, they cannot turn their heads around.
Oh yeah, they're not looking behind them.
Very curious about that match. I agree that Jeff Cobb should win that, but Ishii versus Jeff Cobb, always good.
What you think of the women's match? Stephanie Vacour going over Alex Windsor.
Hasn't seen a lot of Alex Windsor, so this was kind of like an introductory course for me on this. Good, not great. But Stephanie Vacour is one of the great ones.
Yeah.
No, I think she's one of the great ones we just don't see enough of. CMLL did a Stardom tour for a little bit. Now she's here, and obviously she's got titles galore. This is somebody I wish and I say it all the time because every time I see her, I'm like, damn, I wish we could see her more. We saw her, but when you see her, City Riot, obviously. When I see her, I'm like, man, I wish I see more of her. And so every time she has a match, I seek it out and I want to try to watch that motherfucker. But yeah, Stephanie Vacour is the real deal Holyfield for sure.
Hikuleo and El Phantasmo defeat the Mighty Don't Kneel to win back the tag team titles. What you think about this?
You know what I think about this? This is a bunch of bullshit. Why the fuck did you even give him the titles to begin with? Okay,
Hikuleo's gone, right? Like, why are they building him back up? I mean, he's gonna show up in the bloodline, right?
And when he does, I'm gonna look at New Japan and be like, so this is the guy. This is your king. This is your king over here now. That's what I say. The same guy you let go over not Jeff Cobb, but Jay White, and now you got him to win the tag team titles.
His dad is.
I guess I don't know. I'm guessing Haku.
Yeah, it's Haku, right?
Yeah,
he's gonna show up and we're gonna be like, you fucked up, right? you know you fucked up, right?
Man, shit.
You said you bought the bottle of beer.
That 9:30? Yeah, it was 9:30.
You know you done fucked up,
I'm
right?
pretty sure. Anyway, the other thing I was gonna say is, doesn't fucking ELP? I've always thought this. Doesn't he look exactly like Logan Paul?
A little bit.
Like they have the same haircut and everything.
A little bit. I could a match I didn't know I wanted to see until you just said that. But yeah, they do physically. If you chop the heads off, they do look alike. Same like long face.
Yeah, he looks like the Logan Paul action figure.
No, he's small. He's smaller.
I was about to say. I think
exactly. I said the action figure.
Oh yeah. Okay.
The whole reason
I didn't say stunt double. I said action figure.
His Hikuleo's Tonga Fafita? Yeah, that's Haku. Okay. All right. I don't know why it didn't say Haku there. Well, but all right.
Wikipedia likes to make you work. So, I mean, if he does go to WWE, obviously that's going to be, his landing spot. I just don't get it. What has TMDK done wrong that now they just can't have a title run?
Dude,
I mean, they just got the damn title.
It's chaos over there.
No, chaos
they
ain't
got
the word
evil
I'm using.
facing Moxley. Come on, it's fucking chaos. They're just flipping belts all over the place. It's chaos.
Evil facing Moxley. If Moxley was going to hold the belt long enough, their paths were going to cross. Unfortunately, Evil is a former IWGP champion, whether we like it or not, and I damn sure hate it because he beat my boy to do it. So that being said, at some point, if Moxley was going to hold the title long enough, this path was going to happen.
West Coast Wrecking Crew goes over Dirty Work. I like the name Dirty Work for Tom Lawler and Fred Rosser.
I did like that, too. I was surprised that they lost this match, though.
I was, too.
West Coast Wrecking Crew is one of my favorite tag teams. In that scenario, the fact that once they won, I was like, oh, and they won clean. I was like, legitimately surprised. Then obviously you had the post-match angle or whatever the case may be, just getting them some more heat on them. I like West Coast Wrecking Crew. If there's a team that should be the New Japan Strong Champions, I'd rather have them versus ELP and Hikuleo.
The House of Torture goes over the baby faces. I do not want to talk about this match.
Fine.
Leo Rush. The show is opened by Leo Rush versus Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali wins. It was a short match. It was a good match. These motherfuckers are cool. So
two guys who I wish was in BSOJ.
Leo Rush and Leo Rush. Bunch of stuff comes out of his face again. What you think about this, Jason?
I don't. What? Yeah, y'all gonna have to talk to me about why people are having foreign substances in their mouths going into the ring, or just it happens in the ring. I mean, we're seeing just way too much of this shit. Okay,
that's really your question? That's the question you want to ask?
Yeah, yes, because you motherfuckers are.
Okay, go ahead.
The lack of originality bothers me at this point, because we're all kind of doing the same thing and nobody's doing it well. So now we're having a bad idea being passed across multiple different promotions, and now nobody is getting the fuck over. Sorry, this is just me being the fan of me. I know you got something else, a totally different angle to go with it. I'll let you speak on it. But for me, yeah, what the fuck is this shit about? You can't come up with nothing better than this. You got two of the best junior heavyweights in the world, and this is the way you go? Man, no, dude. That pissed me off. I was excited for this match, and then once that started to happen, I was like, man, this match can eat a fucking dick.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Gresham.
Gresham's one of the best in the world also, and he's wearing an octopus mask, and he's got ink coming out of his face.
Like I said, that's that same concept. Why are we doing this? Did somebody catch wind of it? It's like, oh, this would be a good idea for Leo Rush to do it. There was no history to build up to the point where now Leo Rush is just having some black substance coming out of his mouth. It just didn't make sense. It was not even necessary. Just have him wrestle 10 minutes if you want to have a short match and be done with it.
So up next.
And am I wrong? But you have to earn the mist, right?
It's not even mist though. It's like oil. It's like ink coming out of it. Like him and Judge.
There's different colors and you have to earn it.
Are him and Gresham? Well, that's the old Japanese thing. This is something different though.
This is like oil or like.
Are him and Gresham going to be a tag team where they spit out ink all the time? The octopi, the octopuses.
God damn!
Stop it.
Yeah, please. I would. The fact that I'm even thinking about this just drives me up the wall. No.
I just want to watch 007.
Just roll out the damn ball and just have him have this match. This could have been really good. You think just give him 15 minutes.
So up next for New Japan is Dominion, right?
Well, Best of Super Juniors is happening right now. Yeah. This is what
did not get a chance to watch very much. I watched Kevin Knight versus Fujita today. I watched Blake Christian versus Kanemaru. Blake Christian's cool.
Yeah, Kevin Knight that's taking
Kevin Knight's cool.
Big strides. I'm looking forward to the next couple of nights. We've just gotten the first 4 nights in so far. The day 4 was this morning, so I'm gonna catch up with that. But yeah, the next big card what they're leading to would be Dominion, where you have the Best of Super Junior final, and then obviously Moxley and Evil headlining the card for the IWGP title. I'm sure there's some more matches I can't think of.
Who's going to win BOSJ?
Just what I think I've seen so far. Kushida's off to a good hot start. He's undefeated right now. Despy just got on the board. On the flip side, Hiromu did take the L. That's back-to-back L's. He's scoreless after the first couple of days. Show is on the flip side, so it's got to be somebody that.
Who's going to win it?
Damn. I'll go Kushida. He's on a hot start. He's got history behind him. I'll go Kushida.
All right, that's going to do it for our 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
Odds and ends. I'll be honest. The website that I use to watch all my wrestling hasn't had NXT, didn't have NXT this week, so I did not watch NXT. Doesn't look like I missed a whole lot. Ends up with Tony D'Angelo winning the Heritage Cup against Charlie Dempsey. Read that this match was good, and then Gallus laid out Ivar, Wesley, and Josh Briggs at the very end. Anything to say?
Well, two things, and I know you like to hear this, but I hate to say you're right, but when you're right, you're right. Tony D'Angelo has kind of been proven that he's not a main event character, gimmick, whatever word you want to use in this sentence. The Heritage Cup doesn't feel anything close to the top of the card. It feels, mid-card as fuck.
It's about where he should be.
Unfortunately, as fast as he went up to the top of the card is as fast he went back down to the mid-card. And, like I said, I hate to say it, but you're right. Tony D'Angelo is a mid-card guy.
Anything else that you want to say about NXT? That was our odds and ends. It's just us running down Tony D'Angelo.
Yeah, right. Wesley and Obafemi.
Odds and ends, Tony D'Angelo's a fucking bum.
I'm kind of hoping that happens sooner versus later.
I love you, Tony.
You had
I do.
Sol Ruka and Lash Legend advanced to the NXT North American ladder match, so you got something going there. Little bits and pieces. It was a decent show. You didn't miss all that much. It was much more of storyline related. Sprinkle some matches in. Like you said, the big story, obviously, Tony D'Angelo winning the Heritage Cup, cementing his place in NXT's mid-card. Damn shame, but like I said, when you're right, you're right.
That's going to do it for odds and ends.
Man from Ringside.
Hey, everybody, we got some birthdays this week. The Godfather, 63. What's the Godfather's real name?
Damn. Well, he was Common at one point. Godfather. What was his name in Right to Censor? He was the Godfather, Right to Censor.
He was the Good Father.
Or the Good Father, Right to Censor. Has WWE ever used his real name?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
But I forget what it is. I feel like I should know it. That fucking pisses me off.
No, WWE's never used his real name. So, I mean, not unless, you're a big-time fan, which I'm a fan, but not big-time. I don't think you would really know his name. If you say it, I would probably be like, oh, never knew that.
Man, he's a tough guy to look up.
Oh, I bet. He's got 15 aliases. Shit.
No, this is not what I would have said. It's Charles Wright.
Actually, I think I've heard that before, but it does feel very vanilla for someone who ain't vanilla.
That's what. Montel Vontavious Porter. What's his real name? MVP. Mike Kanellis is 39. Earl and Dave Hebner. You know they're twins?
Yeah. WWE played that shit out real well.
75 years old. Dash Wilder is 37. Jimmy the Superfly Snuka is 81. Some were looking up at us from hell.
I knew you were going to make a joke, but that one was inspiring.
He killed a woman.
He can't even help himself.
No, man. I was like, don't say this. Don't say this. Don't say this. Fuck it.
We going to say this
never
shit.
Never have the month where we talk about Chris Benoit's birthday.
Oh, Jesus.
Andre Tamina, come find me. Andre the Giant is 78 years old. Malachi Black is 39. Or Andre the Giant would have been 78 years old. Malachi Black is 39. Kip Sabian is 32. Road Dogg Jesse James is 55. Occam is 31. The aforementioned Chris Benoit, 57 years old. Somewhere looking down on us from heaven. 57 years old. Kota Ibushi is 42. I just couldn't help it.
Like, separate the artist from the art.
I know. That's not even funny. I'm sorry. Kota Ibushi is 42 years old. Brian Pillman would have been 62. Bryan Danielson is 43. And Joe Coffey is 36.
Yeah, he came back for his birthday, kicking ass, taking names.
Hey, everybody. We know there's tons of podcasts listening to, so we appreciate you guys listening to our podcast. For Vice.
Check.
For Tinder Mahal.
Check.
For Merman Murray.
Check.
For Lucha Chris.
Check.
For Patriot Pat.
Check.
For... Did I say Tinder Mahal?
Yes. Brett.
For Brett Jagger. For Two Beer Zach Pullman. We
Check.
will see you next week. We'll have some predictions for Double or Nothing next week. For Jason Cornelius Bell, I am Bill Vegas. Black Lives Matter. Support your local weed dealers. Support your local restaurants. Call your parents and boo the heels.
Boo!